for the Protoss race. Both players getting ready here. And, you know, like we mentioned, in the round of 12 now, only 2 Protoss players left, only 2 Terran players left after the STC has been knocked out. The rest of this being filled up by Zergs.
Yep, this is kind of one of the last hopes for Protoss. HerO has kind of always been one of the last hopes I've thought for Protoss. And from playing against him a lot, from seeing a lot of these tournaments, taking out DreamHack, being the champion there, coming into here, I think he can be the favorite in this match.
All right, well, we'll see if he can do it. The map is going to start right now. Cloud Kingdom, HerO versus Sniper. Let's go into game number 1.
IPL 5. Welcome to IPL 5, Cloud Kingdom.
And here we are on Cloud Kingdom, and in the upper right-hand corner of it, we have our red Protoss player from Team Liquid. It is...
Liquid HerO.
Yeah!
Once again, no bias at all from
Not
Chef,
at all.
clearly. Well, he's going to be going up against his opponent here, who's currently in the GSL Code S Finals, a very strong Zerg player. They call him the Mini Dongrigu from Team MVP. He is...
MVP Sniper.
Like, we had a lot of cheers for the Liquid HerO, and then like the polite round of applause, respect, as everyone's like, yeah, this guy actually is really good. We have to applaud for him too.
He's in the Code S Finals. He doesn't need to beat HerO too.
All right, well, we'll see what he can do now. 15 pool coming out of HerO down to the bottom left-hand corner. Let's see, arms out of HerO, out of Sniper. His opponent HerO, though, deciding to put his pylon inside of his main, not going to drop that out at the choke point outside of his natural.
Yep, this is something HerO's been doing lately. He's going to still go for the standard Forge, Nexus into Forge, Fast Expand. He just hides the Forge in his main. This way the Zerg can't find out when it's spinning and when it's upgrading. Something he's been working a lot on lately. And Sniper, on the other hand, just going for a very standard early pool before hatchery. And notice here that HerO isn't scouting at all, which you may think is kind of weird, but he's done this enough that unless it's something absolutely crazy from the Zerg, he can hold it off.
It's such a weird turn of events, too. We were talking about the first time, you know, Epic Dolina had gotten really popular, started to get really, really good when he took his first MLG. In the finals against Naniwa, decided to go for roach pressure pretty much every time. Well, that time has passed. We see it every now and again. It makes its appearance in long best-ofs and things like that, but it's a lot safer for Protoss players now to direct their structures away from the wall early on.
Yep, and there's the cannon before the gateway, so being a little bit safer than General because he doesn't have this scout.
And, yeah, I mean, he's finally got a probe running down there trying to check any sort of weird times. It looks like he's just going to go directly to the third to be able to pick up on that 4-minute third hatchery, but doesn't see anything quite yet, just being chased down by a Zergling.
Yep, and the Zergling, nice decision to go to the third with 1. Even if you don't see a probe, you've got to kind of be worried about this pylon being made right here to delay your build. And it's very nice of HerO to know that exact timing and to be able to make that pylon. He may even make another one. Nope, so he's just going to be happy with that one to delay the hatchery a little bit.
Yeah, delayed it for another 15 seconds or so, and Sniper just used the opportunity, the excess resources to produce a couple of additional drones, so his economy isn't too affected by this. But again, I mean, you know, you're not trying to do too much there. Obviously, that pylon isn't going to alter significantly the course of the game one way or another. You just want to throw your opponent off a little bit, force them to think outside, get them outside their comfort zone a bit.
Yeah, and a small thing, something that I've seen a lot of lately is this probe. They're using it to scout much more effectively. They're finding out the timing of the third, and then they're escaping with it a lot of the time. And that's something that you may think, well, yeah, you scout and you run away. But a lot of times, Protoss kind of keep that probe around for too long, get a little bit too greedy with their scouting. And now Protoss have kind of figured out a good way to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, back at a time when the +1 4-gate was a little bit more popular, some Protoss players were just trying to hide that, drop it over, and put down a forward pylon, as we do have actually a Stargate coming up for HerO, who is vastly favored right now, 57% to 43% in the online voting, so certainly the popular vote going to HerO at the moment. I'm sure you're happy about that.
I smiled. I did.
Cute little smirk on your face. Anyway, so we'll see what he wants to follow this up with. The Stargate is going to be able to put on some pressure. What variation is he going to go for? Is it going to be Void Ray and a couple of Phoenixes? Is it going to be what's been a little bit more popular lately, just about 4 or 5 Phoenixes? Or I guess 3 or 4 Phoenixes, and getting out there and just trying to scout, pick up drones, force your opponent to put out Spore Crawlers?
Yeah, 4 Phoenix is usually a pretty good number, and here he's going to want to maybe pick off the Overlord around the natural first, and then go ahead and go straight to the third, see if he can get a queen or 2 there. And we're going to have to find and see how... Is it a Void Ray first?
Yeah.
All right, so Void Ray and then Phoenix. And what you do here is you try and hide whether you're going Phoenix or not. So use the Void Ray to clear all the Overlords around, and then you even wait a little bit using the Stargate just to make sure you're safe, and then you use it if you're going to, or if you do an all-in.
All right, so people are reading down at the bottom there of Liquid HerO's heartbeat going up to 160 at DreamHack 2011 whenever they had the heartbeat monitors that were attached there for a while after seeing a couple of roaches. That was a very scary time for Protoss players in PvZ because that overwhelming quick roach strategy was very effective then. And for now, though, looks like HerO's just going to be pushed away for a second. I like how Sniper's not really taking the bait here. You know, sometimes these initial stalkers up at the front will cause a lot of Zerglings to be produced. Looks like Sniper's going to make a few more here as HerO is putting on a bit of pressure, but Sniper had decided to sit back, not be baited into this, and just produce more drones.
Yep, I watched a few games of Creator versus Hyun yesterday, and it was a very similar build here where the Protoss just went in Stargate, put a lot of pressure on with these 3 stalkers, tried to get a lot of Zergling kills, and we don't see that out of HerO. The speed is going to be finishing moderately close, so this is the time when the Protoss has to either run away with these stalkers or just die.
Well, this Void Ray is purely being used to clear out Overlords, and so are the Phoenixes. This has actually been a lot of damage done with these Stargate units. They've killed, now this is going to be the 3rd Overlord with the Void Ray. There was one killed by the Phoenix down the bottom right-hand corner, so map dominance does go back to HerO now, who's retreating with his Stalkers, and he's caused a few hundred resources of damage just by clearing out those Overlords.
Yep, using 1 Phoenix, 1 Void Ray, and this has to, well, I say half, yep, okay. It did make the Zerg a little bit afraid. He's making 2 spores in the main, he has 1 in the natural, and I believe 1, even making 2 at the 3rd, so kind of tricking the Zerg into being over-defensive, and really there's just that 1 Void Ray and 1 Phoenix. And
a nice little Zergling run by for Sniper. He does force a cancel on this 3rd base for a while, and that's certainly going to hold back HerO for a bit, delays it for another 30 or 40 seconds. But
huge deal.
Yeah, like we said before, think of that. We had, what did you say, 5 Spore Crawlers in total were put down. So 5 Spore Crawlers put down, that's 5 drones that aren't used anymore, that's additional resources, and he's actually going to cancel this, Sniper's going to force a cancel on this Nexus once again, so a nice job with these run-bys.
Yeah, they're definitely being worth it. Maybe not in the equal trade, because it's 100 to cancel, and you don't really maybe lose 4 links, it's equivalent. But the fact that the mining time and the gas mining time is being delayed for so long in the 3rd is the big deal.
And
the pro production, excuse me.
Once again, look at this. HerO's being very smart too. He's getting an observer out on the map. He's picking off creep tumors 1 by 1, so he's limiting his opponent's creep production. Like we said before, even though he hasn't killed any workers explicitly with any of his Stargate units, he essentially killed 5 drones by forcing those to be turned into Spore Crawlers. Though a Phoenix does go down, not getting quite the perfect scout that he would have wanted.
Indeed. And HerO's still making Immortals, although now he's going up to Robotics Bay, getting Blink. With 3 bases, getting Vespian Gas. A lot of times if you don't get Vespian Gas very early, it's going to be some sort of really quick timing. But with the gas, I have a feeling it's going to be much more of a macro game, maybe a later timing.
Yeah, and you know, both these players are players that will like to play towards the later game. HerO pretty adept with his mothership play, very late game compositions, very good control as well. Sniper, certainly a lot of the same things could be said for him with that 4th base coming down, with his macro hatch, with his Spire, Infestation Pit, just really getting everything in place that he needs for the super late game. And even though we've had a little bit of harassment on both sides, you know, this is turning into a bit of a let's tech up, let's wait 15 minutes, and then we'll go at each other.
Indeed. Even the creep spread, not too bad from Sniper. He's going to try and go up his ramp at his 4th, and what you want to watch for here is the control of that tower in the front. That's when the Zerg is going to see if there's a move out or not. Until then, he has to be a little bit afraid. HerO just kind of using the Void Ray there to hold the tower, using that Observer too. That's all he really needs to do, to prevent the Zerg from knowing exactly when he moves out.
It looks like this Void Ray is going to stand in and just fight the Queen one-on-one. It'll be able to take it out. Of course, if any Queens join that, it would be a little bit more of a difficulty. The Void Ray is limited, but look at that, 10 kills on it already. It's certainly done its damage. Great scout from this Overseer, though. It sees basically everything that HerO had out on the map.
Indeed. Now, let me think. What was I going to say? There are 5 hatcheries out for the Zerg, and there is a +1 missile attack for the flying units. That's going to delay, and he's not even making a hive with this as well. So this is kind of him saying, I want to have a big fight right when I hit 200 and before you're at 200, and trade a lot of energy, trade some Zerglings for those Colossus you have, and for hopefully a lot of sentries.
So what would that do to a Protoss player then? Are they forced into just remaking whatever cheap units they have? It prevents them from teching up, or does that pretty much just stop their game plan overall?
Well, it removes the really cost-effective units and forces them to be a little bit more defensive. And when they're defensive there, that's when you do get to Broodlords. So HerO needs to, or preferably if he can, needs to have an observer around to see when this hive timing is. And it's right now. It's a little bit later than normal.
Yeah, I mean, 14-minute hive popping out, and Zerg players have been going for earlier and earlier, some as early as 11.5 minutes up to about 13 minutes usually on average. So we'll see if HerO's able to get to pick up on this, but now's that time you were talking about. Sniper's basically maxed out. He's going to be on 200 supply here momentarily, and he's actually moving into this right now. Those Stalkers actually need to blink away here in a second. I think they actually blinked up to the front, so they don't have any more blink timing. Now they're being fungled, though, so they don't have any opportunity to do anything. The Corruptors pick off the first Colossus very quickly, and now all of a sudden HerO is kind of in a tough spot.
Yeah, he had half his army chasing an Overlord instead of fighting the Zerg army, and then just got caught out of position. From here, the Zerg has a bunch of options. He can be aggressive, throw out a ton of Infested Terran, do that sort of trade energy for units.
Oh, that was really cool. HerO actually put down a second line of force field so that when he moved that Colossus forward, if the Corruptors decided to move forward, he could actually blink down behind the force fields to make sure that no units would actually be able to attack those Blink Stalkers. That was really cool. Sniper didn't take the bait, but he is actually landing right underneath the Corruptors right now, and everything is going to be decimated. The Colossus still remains. Will he be able to warp in enough units to get around the side, though? A lot of Infested Terrans getting put down, and he's zoning everything out at the front while he allows the Zealots to do a considerable amount of damage to the Zerglings on the low ground. Infested Terrans are actually being split up at the top. They are going to do some damage, but overall, HerO did a magnificent job of holding that engagement. He is going to lose some economy, though.
Oh, this is perfect for HerO. Sniper was like, oh, I got half your army. I can do it. This is an easy win. But no, HerO had amazing force field. He had a Colossus clutch coming from the high ground. He warped in a bunch of Zealots at a perfect position, got some amazing force fields. This is why you can never count him out.
That was really, really impressive, especially that's a huge turnaround because he had a disastrous engagement around the southern Zelnaga Tower there for a while. Looks like the Infestors trying to get away, and they are a bit trapped. I think there may be, I'm trying to see if there's some sort of an observer that's flying around checking for them. No, actually, as Legend is pointing out, there are no observers on the map whatsoever. A little bit surprising. One is being constructed right now.
Yep, and so now Sniper, after that, has to feel a little bit hurt. He lost a lot of his Infestors. That was his bank. You count on using those Infestors again and again and again, and 5 of them are alive. They're going to throw some Infested Terran and try and bring HerO back to defend that with his army. HerO, on the other hand, looks like he's going for the throat. He's like, I got your army. I don't think you can have an equivalent for what I have right now. 3 Colossus is the magic number. Let's see if it works out magic for him here.
Man, those Infestors that are sitting at the top of the map are basically dead weight. They're completely out of energy, and they're not even close to the army, so they're not going to be a factor. Fungal Girls are pinning down a couple of units, but the Corruptors can't even get close enough to engage as the Blink Stalkers were in a decent position. Now the Colossi are retreating to the high ground a little bit. He's successfully sieged up this 4th base, and he's done what he's needed to start putting pressure on this economy.
Greater Hive isn't even done yet. It's going to be done in a few seconds, but HerO has found this timing right before it finishing, right before there are any Broodlords. And again, you know, the Zerg has 4 Infestors, but together they have maybe 100 energy. That's only enough for 4 Infested Terran, but this is the fight. Can these Zerglings get a good enough surround on the Protoss army? All
right, well, the Corruptors are doing pretty decent damage to the Colossi. 2 have fallen pretty quickly, and the Blink Stalkers haven't even cared about them in the slightest. They were taking care of the ground army and just allowing the Colossi to die, which is a little bit to be expected, I suppose. Looks like the last Colossus is going to go down along with the Warp Prism, so no more reinforcements up at the front. But at the same time, the vast majority of the Zerg army has been taken out. HerO isn't really left with a lot of very high-quality units, though, and so he can't put on pressure directly onto that 4th. He's going to, actually make his way over and pick off these Corruptors, though, which is a nice little addition for him.
Yeah, he's a very mobile army, but a very weak army. At this point, he just can't get caught. He can't lose these Stalkers for something. He has to keep the pressure on, and that's going to be very difficult.
Oh, he actually had a really nice engagement with the charge lots. At the same time, there's some economic damage that's being done over at his own 4th, but he did a really nice job at closing with those Infestors, forcing out a ton of energy there. He's got to get away with these Blink Stalkers, but he does see those Broodlords, puts off 1 before it's able to morph in, can't quite get the 2nd, and has to get out of there.
Yeah, this is looking really good for Sniper. He did manage to hold up that magic timing with 3 Colossus. HerO didn't maybe focus on the corruptors, or either way, just didn't have the army size, perhaps from that earlier engagement where he got into a lot of trouble. And Sniper from here just playing it very, very nice, keeping himself alive and defending properly.
And it looks like there is plenty to defend. These charge lots making their way into the natural. Even though they do have decent upgrades, it's not alone going to be enough. The Zerglings clean those up. The Infestors, once again, even though there's still 2 of them hanging around the top of the map, they've been dealt with by HerO very effectively. But HerO now, he's a little bit on the back foot. He's got his mothership coming up, and that's kind of the wild card there. If he can sit there, if he can accumulate that 100 energy, if he can land that great vortex, that's really the wild card in this game. But with 4 Broodlords, with a strong Infestor army, and now a ton of Banelings, 36 Banelings morphing in at the same time, Sniper does not want to give HerO the time to get that army back up and going.
Yep, just like 3 Colossus is a very good time for Protoss to attack, no Mothership is a very, very good time for the Zerg to attack, and it's not out quite yet. HerO chrono boosting it out, and he needs it right now.
Okay, well, these Archons will be able to deal with the Broodlings for quite a while, but he needs the Blink Stalkers to get underneath these. But look at the Banelings moving down. The Blink Stalkers move right down, and the Banelings are immediately on top of them. 2 of the Broodlords have been dealt with. The rest of the energy coming out from those Infestors. The Banelings not really doing all that much damage to the Archons, of course, with the Roaches and Infested Terrans that are behind certainly will. Is there enough energy left on the Infestors to continue with this attack? Yes, it looks like there is. They're dropping some Infested Terrans onto the high ground. This Colossus actually surviving with just 14 hit points, hitting the back and now doing damage to the Roaches on the low ground. This Nexus has taken quite a bit of damage, but doesn't look like it's going to go down, so the Infested Terrans turn their attention to the probes instead to inflict what economic damage they can.
Yep, HerO trying to get rid of these 2 Broodlords that are left because they're just infinite Broodlings. Couldn't quite focus them down, and Sniper just with energy rebuilding on those Infestors, with those 2 Broodlords living, HerO not able to chase back and pick up those Infestors. This is a very dire situation for HerO.
Extremely difficult. Now, the Broodlord count is low, of course, and the Infestors are pretty low in energy, but HerO just lost his 4th base, and that was really devastating for him. He's really counting on that to provide the additional gas income, to increase his Archon count, to increase his Colossus count, and now he just doesn't have that available to him.
Yep, and the Mothership's there now, but again, like we said, now isn't when he needed it. He needed it a little bit earlier, but he just didn't have the money for it. It's a tough decision to make of when to get that and how to get that exactly.
These guys are playing a very high APM, 450 apiece there for just a second ago, so they are certainly doing everything they can in their power to make this a win in their favor. Here we go, Mothership sitting overhead. It's a lot of Broodlords there, not a lot of Overseers. There are 3 of them. I'm not sure where they're at on the map. Looks like this 4th base is going to be taken out again, and we'll see if this engagement can go HerO's favor, because otherwise this is going to be a relatively quick end of this game. Infested Terrans dropping down, that's going to force the Mothership back. There's a little bit too much damage that's being applied to it, and even though things are a bit invisible there, the Mothership dies. There's GG, and Sniper takes game number 1 of this best of 3.
Very well played.
Very well played. Very political of you as well. The very nice, like.
Oh, it was. It was
yes.
an amazing game. HerO almost had it. Sniper coming around from all bunches of sides to take out the 3 Colossus.
Yeah.
Just when you thought Sniper was out, losing all those Infestors, getting them trapped, losing his army when he had an advantage, and then just pulling back slowly, defending into when he can finally be aggressive with those Broodlords. Great play.
Yeah, very great play. I mean, especially because HerO, I mean, it could have been over a lot earlier than that, too. After Sniper won that big engagement around the Zelnaga Tower, after he trapped all those Blink Stalkers, things were really dire for HerO, though. But did a couple of neat tricks up his sleeve, a little bit of interesting force field play, and was able to hold that big engagement and at least stretch this game out for a while.
You bet.
All right, so we're going to move to game number 2 here in